It is all about lard today in Pam's kitchen. That's right, Pam's kitchen, not the sartorial kitchen, because it's a special meal for a special group of friends, and I'm starting that off with my country fried chicken. Then it is homemade mashed potatoes with lots of butter, scratch-made biscuits in the skillet, green beans fresh out of the garden, and my white pepper gravy. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with us? Back, everybody. No, we are not in the sartorial kitchen. We are in the sartorial vehicle. This is a special episode. So my dear friend Barbie and her mom, they had a benefit back in the spring. I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. I had choir practice that night. But I thought, you know, I can donate something to be auctioned off. And I did. A dinner for 4 courtesy of the sartorial chef. And you get the full experience. You get to take part in one of my tapings. We get a sous chef. We get a videographer. I was so excited. So, 2 of my friends were having a little bidding war on this prize. But they actually were not the ones who won. Barbie's mom's friend Pam did. I've not met this woman before. So I'm very excited. I love to share my food with new people. So that is what we are going to be doing today. We are all about to meet her shortly. And I can't wait to see you guys. Okay, so this is Barbie, everybody. She's going to be my sous chef today. I've got my friend Deborah behind the camera. So we're going to do all of our prep first before we cook. That makes the most sense. And then you can get everything out of the way and just focus on the actual cooking. So today's menu, yes, lard. It's going to be very lard heavy if you didn't get it from the title. I'm using Crisco in just about everything, starting with my scratch-made biscuits. So what I'm going to have you do, if you want to cut these potatoes up while I prep the biscuit dough, I've already got a pot of water here. This is cold water. I always start my potatoes in cold water because they cook more evenly. You put it on the stove, you let it come to boil, and then it only takes about 10-15 more minutes after that, and it's good to go. So I'm just measuring out here 2 cups of flour. This is self-rising flour. If you only have plain flour, then you'll just need about a teaspoon of baking powder. That's just to get the biscuits to rise. It's a little bag, so I'm measuring it out here with a spoon just to keep from making a mess. And then just kind of level it off. And there's 1 cup. Those, they're kind of small, so you can just cut them in half. If there's any like real big ones, you can probably cut those into 4s. I just went, you always, when you're dicing vegetables, you want them to be about the same size so they cook at the same time. Okay, so that's 2 cups of flour. And we're going to do just a pinch of salt here, just to give it some flavor. And then I'm going to sift that. You guys knew me, I always sift my flour, especially when I'm using flour like that, because there are always lumps, and we don't want lumpy biscuits. That's perfect. Now I just need a few more things here. We need our Crisco, or lard. I only need a 4th cup. And again, I'm going to measure that when I'm baking. I'm a little more precise with my measurements, because I want to make sure everything comes out just right. And this is going to help make the biscuits be nice and flaky and tender on the inside. And that is that. If you don't care for the shortening, you can use butter, but again, this is Lord have mercy, so Crisco it is. And I need 3/4 cup of buttermilk. So if you don't have a 3/4 cup measurement, you just fill this up 3/4 of the way, and there you have it. And then we're just going to come in here, and I'm just going to mix this up. I just want to take the spatula and cut in the shortening. And and then just fold it around so all the flour is incorporated. If you want, you can use a stand mixer, but I would use that judicially. You don't want to overmix your flour or you're going to have tough biscuits. And it looks like you're almost finished with those potatoes. Guys, we are back. I have finished my dough here. We've got the chicken out. Do not be afraid to pound that meat. Get your aggressions out. I want it to be about a ½ inch thick all around so it cooks nice and evenly through. I'm cooking the biscuits in the cast iron. That's going to give us some color, and there's just nothing like baking in a cast iron. But I'm going to take some more of my Crisco egg, and we're going to grease this pan. That's going to not only keep the biscuits from sticking, but it's going to give us a lovely little crust. I like a nice crusty biscuit. Okay, that's looking good. We're going to take our dough here, and you know, if people want to roll it out and cut circles, that's fine, but why go to all that trouble? I just pinch some off like it's cookie dough in my hand, make a little ball. Easy peasy if you're not afraid to get your hands dirty.
That's really neat.
Now they may not all be the same size doing it this way, but that's how you know it's homemade. Don't be afraid for them to touch, that's fine. It's going to help them hold their shape anyways. And I would say that is pretty good. Next, we're going to set up our dredge for the chicken. So the dredge, it's just going to be eggs and flour. We'll do flour, egg, flour. I like to do a double dredge in the flour because you get that extra layer of crispiness. So I'm going to take, and this I'm not going to measure out like I did the biscuits. I'm just going to dump some in here. It's all good. And just kind of work that around. We're going to season our flour here. Got some salt and pepper. I want this chicken to be nice and flavorful. I'm probably going to do about a teaspoon or so of each. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Then I've also got some onion powder and some garlic powder. Is that all the chicken?
Yeah.
Great. If you want to just take that over, we'll get our frying station set up here shortly. I love having a sous chef. I can get so much more done. So let me just take a fork here and stir up all of our things here. Oh, some paprika as well. Just forgot. That's good. Okay, now we'll just take our fork. Oh, I'm glad you're washing your hands. I wanted to mention that. Anytime you're handling raw meat, it is always good to wash your hands. You want to avoid cross-contamination. I don't touch anything after I've worked with meat until I've washed my hands. Okay, so there's the flour. Now for the eggs. This will be our thank you for coming bag, so I can crack the eggs. And the shell can go right into the bag there. I like to be careful and watch for eggshells. Nobody wants eggshells in their chicken. Okay, then I'm just gonna beat these eggs a little bit. And we'll throw in just a splash of water here. And this is just our egg wash. Now, I'm doing two things with this egg wash. It's going to be for our chicken, but before that happens, I'm also going to brush some on the top of our biscuits, and that's just going to give us a really nice golden brown crust on top. Okay, that looks good. So let's grab our biscuits here again. Beautiful, beautiful. So if you don't have a little brush or something like that, you can always just take a spoon, just spoon a little on top and swirl it around. And that's just going to make our biscuits look nice and pretty on top. Okay, and I would say our prep is out of the way, so we are ready to start cooking. Guys, we are back. I'm going to start by getting my biscuits in the oven. I've already preheated the oven to 475. They're going to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. I've already set my timer here, so we'll check on those in a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and get our skillet going here. I want it on a medium temp. I don't want it too hot. The potatoes we've already got going. I started those in cold water, as I mentioned. I like, they cook more evenly if you start them in cold water and let the water come to temp. And we have salted that water because potatoes, like I said, they're bland. They need all the help they can get. Now my skillet here, we're gonna get a nice generous helping here of this Crisco. That is what we're going to be frying this chicken in. And again, if you're not big on the lard, you can use oil or whatever you like, but this is what we're using here. And with a nice good amount. Just enough that we can do like a shallow fry. We're going to fry it on both sides. And then we can start dredging our chicken. Okay, I got my skillet going. I'm going to turn it down just a little. It looks like it's going pretty good. If you're not sure if your oil's hot enough, I just get a little water on my fingertips. Stand back. That's the sound you're listening for. That sound means that something delicious is about to be made. So we're going to take our chicken. I have some tongs here. I don't mind getting my hands dirty with the biscuit dough, but I do not particularly care to have chicken all over my hands. So what I'm going to do, and another good thing about the buttermilk, it's going to help this flour stick. So I'm going to do two coatings. I'm going to do a light coating in the flour. Then we're going to go in our egg wash here. And then we go back into our flour. And I take the tongs and really press that chicken down into the flour because I want it to be generously coated. I want it to have a nice thick coating of flour. It's going to be nice and crispy. I got the bigger skillet here, so I want, so I can cook it about two at once, I think. And we're just going to slide that into the oil. I've got this on a medium heat. I don't want the oil too hot. I want it to be able to cook through before it gets too done on the outside. And then we just come in here with our next piece of chicken. Guys, I wish you had smell-o-vision at home. You can already smell that flour cooking up, all those beautiful seasonings I threw in there. Everybody raves about scented candles. I'm like, that should be a scented candle. Fried chicken, right? Oh my goodness. Oops. Now these are going to cook about 4 minutes or so on each side. You want to know when they're ready to flip. If you look on the edges will start to brown also. Your oil starts to get a little quiet on you. And that's when you're starting to move into from brown to dark brown. So you want to pay attention to that. Alright, I think this chicken is ready to flip. Oh, look at that. Golden beautifulness. I'll grab this one too. Oh, yes. That is exactly what we're looking for. Ooh, there goes my timer again. Let's check on these biscuits. Oh, yeah. Don't those look so much better? So we can turn off the oven now, let it cool down a little bit. I'm going to set these here. Just let them chill out. So they'll still be warm, but they won't be too hot. Alright, I've taken those first two pieces out. Just to be on the safe side, I threw them in the oven just to make sure they're cooked through. I don't want anybody getting sick from chicken. And then I'm going to start my next couple pieces here. Okay, I think this chicken's done, so I'm going to set it here. I always, when I'm frying things, I like to put it on a paper towel just to blot the grease. And then these babies are ready to come out, so they're going to go in here. And then I'll be ready to fry up my last two pieces, and we'll be just about done. Throw those babies in. I did turn the oven down from earlier. I don't want you to think that I'm bringing this to temp at 475. No way, that would burn the crust on the outside. I turned it down to 350 just to make sure the inside gets cooked through. And then I've got my last two bits here. Chicken. Fry that up. And I think our potatoes are about ready to come off. So I'm going to call my sous chef over here. It's going in pretty good. I think we're good on those potatoes finally. So we've got our colander here. I'm going to drain these potatoes. I want to turn this heat down now to something a little lower. Now, let's see, pot holders and pot holders. I just want to drain all this liquid. I don't want it going into our mashed potatoes. That's going to make them gummy. And this smells great. I love leaving the skin on. It's just extra flavor. And then I'm going to dump these right back in our pot. And my sous chef would love to get us going here. I've got some butter out. This is softened nicely. I left it sitting out. You can use cold butter out of the fridge. It's not a big deal. I just thought this would be easier. So we're going to do, I think, about a couple tablespoons of butter. That's good. And some of our cream. Our host, I had her splurge and get some heavy whipping cream. You can use milk, but the cream's just going to make it like very luscious. I'm just going to pour a little in here to start, just to kind of get us going. And then of course some salt and pepper. We did salt our water, but potatoes can never have enough seasoning, honestly. And just some salt and pepper. We're going to be serving it with a cream gravy, so I don't want to put too much things here in our potatoes. And we'll just come in here and give it a mash. Work those mussels. We've got some beautiful beans here that she got from her neighbor, nice fresh beans. So I'm just going to do a little of this butter here. And that's really... that's just to keep the beans from burning here in our skillet. It's also going to give it some nice flavor. Everything's better with butter, right? And I'm going to throw these babies in. Oh, we lost one. Oh well. A little salt and pepper. If you have canned beans, that's fine. They're already processed, so they won't take as long to cook. I just want these to get nice. Let's give these a little stir. Get all the seasoning incorporated. How are those potatoes going?
They're still waking up.
Well, if you want to trade places here, tint the beans for me. We're going to need, this pan's nice and hot. I'm going to turn it up just a little. Hold on to the pan so it doesn't move around too much on you. And just really come through here. And just really work those muscles. We are multitasking here, guys. I'm frying chicken, I'm mashing potatoes. This is why it helps to have a sous chef. We're actually done with the eggs, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to save our dredging flour here because that's going to be the thickener for my roux to get our gravy going. Alright, I'm taking the last of our chicken off. That's going to go in here again just to make sure that it gets cooked through. And we're ready to start our gravy. What did I do with my list? Yes. So we have all these wonderful pan drippings in here from frying our chicken. I'm going to dump the rest of our flour in here that we dredged with. Why waste the flour? It's got all those wonderful seasonings in it. And then you just want to be really quick about this and stir it into that oil cooking liquid. You want it to get incorporated. You want that raw flour taste to kind of cook out, but you don't want it to get burnt. Just want it to be nice and cooked through. So as you can see, once it melds with the butter, the oil, it almost becomes kind of paste-like. And you just kind of go through, make sure that it's evenly cooked. And then we're going to come in here with the rest of our cream. Beautiful. I'm going to season that as well with, where'd they go? Ah, thank you so much. We're going to come in here with some salt. And some pepper. You can have white pepper gravy without pepper. Just a nice generous amount. I want everybody to know it's in there. And stir that up. And then what I'm doing is I'm loosening that flour mixture and dissolving it into our cream. Make sure we get all the lumps out. We're going to need some more. I'm going to use the rest of my buttermilk here. This is going to give us a nice little tangy note as well. Really, you just need enough liquid to kind of dissolve that flour mixture. It thickens up, so you can always add more liquid as you go. You just want to make sure you don't add too much because you can't take it out. Once that flour is dissolved, you can kind of see how thick it's going to get. And you can always add more. And this dough doesn't have to cook long. Really just long enough for it to get nice and hot and get to that consistency you're looking for. If it starts to boil at all, that's usually about when I take it off the heat. Yeah, that looks amazeballs. It's like perfect. Alright, now I gotta go back to the stubborn recipe. I thought I'd let it cook some first and then go try and mash it again. And that seems to be the trick. I have a hand mixer that I would normally do this with, but I want it to like be as traditional as I could with it. Where'd you go with that paper towel?
Oh.
I don't want to drip in the gravy.
Like that closures.
Yeah. I'm like that gravy's gonna taste like sweat. I know, right? Oh yeah, these potatoes look much better. Oh, you can stop for a while. Guys, welcome back. We are ready to feast, and is this not a gorgeous southern feast or what? I'm serving this family style. I thought it would be fun. We'll just pass everything along and dig right in. Guys, let's dig in. I'm going to start with this chicken. I just want to cut into it so you guys can see that it is nice and cooked through. It's nice and juicy. You can hear the crisp of that coating on the outside. Oh yeah, nice and moist, juicy. And the gravy is perfect. It just gives it a little something. Let's try these potatoes next. These are smashed, so they're a little lumpy, and I left the skin on. So you have lots of texture. I've got the gravy on this as well, so it's just really, just gives the potatoes lots of flavor. Now for these biscuits. Look at that. That's the Crisco.
Biscuits.
And they're nice and flaky. So I like when biscuits are soft in the middle but crunchy on the outside. Just perfect.
They are perfect.
And these beautiful beans, we didn't do much to this, just some butter and salt and pepper. Keep it simple. I like this. They got just a little texture to them. Well, I thank you guys for joining me for this wonderful feast, for this special little prize that we put together for the benefit. We are going to finish up our meal here and leave you guys. But as always, I implore you to like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section.